Dane, how do you like the idea of a warm, spicy, comforting pie, but in cupcake form?
Well, if it's a cake and pastry, you're talking my language, so I mean, that sounds great.
Okay, well I think we should make apple pie cupcakes today. So, for today's apple pie cupcake, we're going to be making a lovely lattice top, which is going to go on top of a moist apple sponge, cinnamon buttercream, and a really luscious, gently spiced apple pie filling.
Sounds great.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But I'm going to need some flaky pastry, so please go away in a nice way and make me some pastry, okay?
See ya.
So while Dane's making the pastry, I'm going to make the filling, and I really want to use firm, crisp, tart apples. So something like a Pink Lady works really well, or Granny Smith or Braeburn. Stay away from cooking apples. While they're obviously traditional for cooking, they do tend to mush up a bit, and I want to see the little pieces of apple once I've cooked them. So I'm going to start by peeling my apples. I have 4 here. I'll probably only use about 3.5 of them. And I'm also going to use my trusty apple corer to core my apples. Normally I use these for cupcakes. And then I'm chopping them up really small. I want them sort of 1 centimetre squared or less. And then I'm using about 300 grams of them, and I'll put that into a saucepan, along with 50 grams of light soft brown sugar, 50 grams of butter, a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and a little drop of vanilla extract. And then cook that over a medium heat, get it bubbling, stirring it every now and then once it's bubbling away, drop it to a simmer, put the lid on, and cook it for around 10 to 15 minutes. You want the apples to be soft but still holding their shape, and the sauce will be caramelizing slightly.
So whilst Jemma is making the lovely applesauce, I'm going to make the flaky pastry for the lattice top. Now, this is the same recipe that Sally and I used in the cherry pie recipe, but I'm going to half the quantity because we only need a little bit. So that's why I'm going to make it by hand. We made it with the food processor in the other video, but you don't really need that for this amount. So what I'm going to do is put my plain flour, I've got 190 grams, just into a bowl. And then to that, I'm just going to add 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And to that, I'm going to add 127 grams of really cold cubed butter. Now you can keep this in the fridge or the freezer for 10 minutes before you use it. That will really help to keep it cold. So using both my hands, I'm just going to rub the butter and flour together until I get nice chunky nuggets of butter still left in the mixture. And then I'm just going to add 1/2 tablespoon of cider vinegar and 3 to 4 tablespoons of really ice cold water. Using one hand, I'm just going to start to bring the mixture together until it forms a dough. And once you've got a shaggy looking dough with a little bit of flour on the surface, I'm just going to tip it out and knead it until it becomes a smooth dough. You should still see the lumps of butter in there, and the only thing left to do is wrap it in some cling film, and then we'll pop it in the fridge for about 30 minutes to 1 hour until it's firmed up nicely.
My applesauce filling is looking so delicious. You can still see all the lovely little pieces of apple in there. It's got a lovely dark brown colour. So I'm just going to pop it into this bowl and leave it to cool. I see Dane is now coming along with his pastry. Is my pastry ready?
It's ready. It's been chilling out in the fridge for about 45 minutes, and it's nice and firm. And all we're going to do now is roll it out. So for that, we need to flour the surface a little bit and roll my sleeves up so that it doesn't stick. And then we'll get rolling. I'm going to roll it about 3 to 4 millimeters thick. And I'm just turning it every so often so that it doesn't stick to the bottom. Add a little bit more flour if you like, and just keep rolling. And then what we're going to do is use a really sharp knife and cut strips that are about 1 centimeter thickness, and then cut those strips into 10 centimeter long pieces. So we've got all of our pieces ready. Now we just need to lattice them all together and create the little pie topping that's going to go on the cupcakes. So it couldn't be simpler. Basically, for each one, you're going to need 6 strips, 3 and 3. So all I'm going to do is take 3 strips, fold back the middle one towards me. I'm going to place another strip horizontally in the middle of those 3 strips, put a little bit of egg wash, and fold the middle strip back down so that sticks down. The 2 vertical strips, I'm going to fold those again back to me, lay another strip on top of that, stick it down with some egg wash, and then we'll pop the strips back on top, and then we'll just do the same again with the bottom. So basically you've got kind of over, under, over, under. And then using a cookie cutter, just chomp out the pastry so you get the edges nice and neat, and using a cranked palette knife, just lift it and pop it into the cupcake pan. number 1 complete. But I've got 11 more to do. So, Jemma, do you fancy helping me
Oh,
out?
I would love to help you. This looks really fun.
Cool. So, just grab some strips and we'll get going.
I will. Right, so the middle one goes bent over, a little bit of egg, the middle one of the horizontals, dab them down, and then repeat that on the outer ones.
That is the 12 complete. So what we need to do now is put this whole tray into the fridge to chill them down so they don't shrink too much when they bake. And then we're gonna bring them out and using some greaseproof paper, just scrunch it up and fill it with some weights. So we're using red lentils, you can use rice or beans, and then we'll bake them at 190 degrees for 15 minutes. Take the paper out and then bake them for a further 10 minutes.
Now my pastry tops are looking lovely and golden. I say mine, they're actually ours. But anyway, while they're cooling down, I'm going to make the delicious apple cupcakes. Now these are going to be packed with apple as well. And I've already grated mine. I've got 140 grams of the same apple, so a nice pink lady, nice tart one. And I'm going to sieve that, which might feel a bit weird, but what I'm actually going to do is try and separate the solid bits of apple from a bit of juice. So using the back of a spatula, I'm just going to try and squeeze down. You can also do this with a potato ricer, or you can put it into a muslin and give it a squeeze for maximum juicing. Right, you want to squeeze as much of the juice out as possible because the appley bit needs to be sort of slightly dry, and then we only add a little bit of the juice at the end, and I always like to have the rest just in a glass with some ice as a little sort of appley treat halfway through. Anyway, I've done that now, so I'm just going to make the rest of the batter. So I'm starting with a sieve. I'm going to put 125 grams of self-raising flour through the sieve, and 100 grams of caster sugar and 25 grams of soft light brown sugar. And then I'm adding a 1/4 teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda, and then shuffle that through. Use a spoon if you need to. Sometimes the brown sugar can be a bit lumpy. I'm also adding 125 grams of lovely soft unsalted butter. Make sure it's squeezably soft. And then 1 tablespoon of black treacle, or you could use molasses if that's what you've got available. And then lastly, 2 large eggs. And then whack that onto your mixer. And you want to get that mixing on a medium speed for about 30 seconds. And then once it's had 30 seconds, you can add your apple, so all your grated apple, and then along with just 1.5 tablespoons of the juice. And beat that again for another 30 seconds on a medium speed. That is ready to roll. So I'm going to scrape as much as I can off this spatula because I don't want to miss a trick. And I have my 12-hole cupcake pan here. I'm going to use my trusty spoons for this, but you can pipe it in or do whatever you fancy. And I'm going to just fill each case about 3/4 full. So now I just need to bake these at 170 degrees C for 18 to 20 minutes, and they want to be nice and springy to the touch when they're done.
And whilst Jemma's cupcakes are baking, our cupcakes are baking, I'm going to make the buttercream, cinnamon buttercream. So I've got 315 grams of really soft, squidgy, spreadable butter. I'm going to turn the mixer on to a high speed and get that whipping until it's nice and pale and fluffy. Now I'm going to add my sifted icing sugar. I've got 500 grams and I'm going to add it in 2 batches, beating well in between each addition. Once it's whipped up and it's nice and fluffy, I'm just going to add 3/4 teaspoon of cinnamon and 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and then a little bit of milk, about 2 tablespoons. Once the milk is in, just give it a final whip for a couple of minutes until it's nice and smooth and voluminous. The buttercream is all ready, it's silky smooth, and the last thing to do is put it in a piping bag fitted with a round nozzle, and I'm just going to join Jemma and we're going to decorate the cupcakes together.
Oh, he's back!
Back!
With his piping bag full of delicious cinnamon buttercream.
Yep.
Smelled so good when you were making it.
It did. I can't wait to decorate these.
Well, it doesn't smell as good as these apple sponges, which look amazing. They're lovely and golden brown. They've got that treacly smell as well. And they're super moist. Oh, I can't wait to eat these, but we've got to decorate them first. So why don't you get cracking with the buttercream and I'll follow you up with some of this delicious applesauce.
Okay.
What kind of pattern are you going for?
Well, I'm kind of doing like, almost like a flowery thing. So what I'm doing is just like doing, I guess, a ball at the edge of the cupcake, and then I'm kind of bringing it in.
It kind of looks like a flower.
Yeah.
I love that.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, and now I will top that off with a bit of lovely apple pie filling.
Ooh, yeah.
Maybe a little bit more. That looks a bit mean. And then, oh my gosh, that already looks amazing. But I think we should turn these upside down to get maximum pie look. Oh, beautiful. They look like little pies.
You do?
Yeah. Well, let's crack on and keep going.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. These look so cute.
So cute.
Just like little pies.
They do.
You want to eat them, you say?
I really want to eat them.
Well, I mean, that's what we're here for, guys. We're here to eat cake. Well, make them and then eat them. So how on earth are we going to do this?
Well, I feel like the pastry top is going to be like a scoop, shovel, little vessel situation. So
yeah, that's a great idea. So like a sort of vol au vent.
Yeah, so if we take it off, scoop up the icing and the apple sauce.
Yeah. Hello.
Buttery, flaky heaven.
Yummy.
And then you peel back
Okay.
the cake. And that's so squishy. Really super moist. The apple is keeping it just the perfect texture.
Oh yeah.
Ooh,
Uh-huh.
really good.
The treacle in the apple, I don't know why. There's only such a small amount of it, but it just rounds everything off.
It really does. It's
Yummy.
so like warming, and that's the spices in the applesauce. Perfect autumnal flavor combination. Cinnamon apple, believe it or not, apart from milk chocolate and passion fruit, is also one of my favorite flavor combinations.
Is it now?
It really is.
You had it here, guys. We thought that was your one true love, that combo.
No, cinnamon and apple, but maybe only when it gets to like August. So.
Oh yeah, gotta have all the spicy bits.
Exactly.
Nice. Well, there's plenty of spicy bits in this one, and we are going to go and head over to the sofa to share these with our Sally, who actually came up with this recipe, so we'll get the scoop on how she did that. So if you want to catch that, head over to patreon.com/CupcakeJemma to join the Bake Club. You get other perks and lots of extra content, so make sure you head over there to check it out.
Yes, and we highly recommend you making these cupcakes because they are absolutely delicious and perfect for the autumn-winter season. And if you do make them, make sure you hashtag CupcakeJemma on Instagram. Also on TikTok, we're also on TikTok. So if you make a little TikTok or a reel,
We're on TikTok.
post
So cool
it.
now.
Maybe we'll duet it as well.
I don't know what that
duetting.
means.
Yeah, you just
You can
like
explain it
it's like a
after.
split screen thing.
Cool, cool.
But yeah, make sure you do that so we can see them because we love when you share
Whoopsie.
your bakes with us.
And don't forget, the Crumbs and Doilies book is almost out, guys, and you can still pre-order it. You can pre-order signed copies using the link in the description box below, so make sure you do that. It will mean an awful lot.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for watching. We will see you next week. I hope you enjoyed this. We certainly did. So let's go over to the sofa and eat these cakes.
Hell yeah.
I'm taking this one.
And I'll take this one.
Bye.
Bye.